Good evening and welcome to the Orleans Hotel and Casino, home of the award-winning National Finals Tonight show. Brought to you in part by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Knob Creek, Basil Hayden's, 14 Hands Wines, Ram Rodeo, Boot Barn, Cinch Jeans, Resist All Hats, Montana Silversmiths, and Boyd Gaming. National Finals tonight with 8-time world champion bull rider Don Gay, 8-time world champion cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing tonight? You've been there a long time. You're good right there. That's good. It's good to have you here this evening, and welcome to National Finals tonight. This is our 13th year of doing this show. Thanks to Boyd Gaming for making that all happen. We're glad to have you here with us. A great studio audience here tonight. And we want to say hi to all the folks at the Cowboy Channel that are watching across the country. We hope you can come out and join us here in Las Vegas sometime as well. This is going to be a great show. I'm glad you're here this evening. A lot of good guests and a lot of heartwarming things. Not this first guy, but the rest of it is. Let's get my co-hosts out here, the stars of our show, and let's get it started. We've got a lot. This guy has, well, I'll just let him tell you, but let's get him out here. The 8-time world champion bull rider, my buddy of 30 years, Donny Gay, is here tonight. Donny, come on out.
Hey. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good.
This has been a big day for you. My goodness, huh?
It's been long.
It's been a long day. Do you want to tell them how it started? What time did you get started this morning?
Well, I laid down last night at 12:05, right after I turned into a pumpkin. I was asleep at 12:10. I got up, gone at 6 o'clock this morning, picked up Jerry Nelson and his wife Beverly, and we got in an airplane at Henderson, and we flew to Beaumont, Texas, and I dropped them off and got them headed home. Then I turned around. I had a 120-knot tailwind going down there, and I'm thinking, man, we're going nearly the speed of sound. But then I had the headwind coming back. Wow.
So tell me time-wise,
and I
Donny,
having to go, I love this.
How long did it take you to get there and then the flight back?
2 hours and 39 minutes to get there, and 4 hours and 10 coming back.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and what altitude were you at going back there?
40,000 coming back and 41 going down there. So
yeah.
You fly odd thousands going east and even thousands coming west.
Very good. He's had a big day, this guy. It's going to be a good show tonight, Donny. Let's get our co-host out here and talk more about this. This guy also, you know very well, an 8-time world champion rodeo man as well. Mr. Joe Beaver is in the house tonight.
B.
Joe, yes, sir. What you got? Oh,
Oh, ricochet!
I'm not responsible for tips. If you knocked her tooth out, you're the one in trouble.
right on the front row. There you go. There you go. Joe is bearing gifts tonight, and first of all, we need to, Donny, he had to go to a chiropractor when he got back. Now, was that from the bowling or from the flying today?
Well, I'm not sure, but you know.
Your chiropractor is here.
Yeah. Where's Thumper at? Thumper in the audience? He's used to sing Old Canada playing hockey, but he's actually a horse chiropractor.
Let me tell you how long Thumper's been around here.
Yeah.
Thumper worked on us. He used to have this old bus, and he parked at the Thomas and Mack till they run him off. And he'd work on us at night before the rodeo. And in the 80s, it wasn't the rodeo that killed us. It was the afterlife. So we needed a chiropractor like Thumper because he understood why we were so sore.
Now, the other side of that is he's actually a horse chiropractor, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's actually, he's been in a strip and shoot with bucking horses and helped them out. I mean, you know, this guy's got a resume a mile long, about as big as he is.
Yeah. And so he took care of your neck today.
Yeah.
But you pulled a muscle in your butt bowling. Did he fix that?
He didn't want to go there.
He pulls more muscles watching the bull riding than he does when he rode.
If he did that, we'd have to change his name. Now, you think it was in the bull riding yesterday that you're for?
You are so bad.
You had to think about it, though, for a second, didn't you? Yeah. So it was your follow-through that pulled.
Just tell him it was that strike when everybody was watching.
Yeah. when they had the cameras rolling.
That's when you pulled. I got you. Yeah.
Hey, he's done some of his best work on the cameras.
Oh, Donnie. Yeah, we're glad you're back safely. That's a long flight today. That's a long flight. And Joe, we were talking earlier, you and I. There's a flu bug going through some of the contestants now.
Yeah, Dakota Eldridge was supposed to come on tonight, and I know 4 or 5 other guys at least. Caleb Driggers, they're all fighting it. And it's not a friendly flu. It's not just a headache. It has other
side effects.
Yes, it does.
Yes, yeah.
So there's people don't you don't get it. Donnie says all the time. There's so much many other things pulling at you out here. Well, then you throw in you're sick. You got temperature. You're sweating like Caleb Driggers walked in we call the dugout down there, the room where they watch the videos of the cattle. He walked in there last night, and I swear, y'all, he was sweating like he had just run a marathon. Wow. And he looked terrible, And everybody down there, they're so kind and so nice.
Oh, yeah.
Marty Yates comes in, sits down, Driggers walks by. I said, I look at him, look at Marty. He said, how's them antibiotics doing, Driggers? They working? And Driggers just turned around, looked at him. He said, you want it, I'll kiss you, and you'll have it. He's like, wait a minute, stop. So, those guys are working with some other stuff. Dakota, he said, man, I'll try to come later in the week. And, but if he doesn't feel good, we don't want him up here because I know how he feels.
And our buddy, Junior Nogueira, tonight it looked like it was hurting even worse.
Yeah, but he's got to get over that to that point. And he came down tonight after the team roping and jerked my ear out. And he said, what do you know? And I said, hold up. Did it hurt any worse? No. And I said, you're catching. Y'all just leave it alone. He feels like he's going so slow. Yeah. That's what he told me. Man, I'm so slow. I am so slow throwing, dallying. And, here's the deal. You're wounded. It's not a big wound at all, but the joint is still as big as that microphone. Yep. And that's what I told him. I said, you need to go somewhere. You may have an infection and it's red and, he can't bend it. So he's scared. What he's scared of is he's scared when he goes to throwing fast of losing legs. Because he can't pull his slack tight. And he says, I just am scared to throw. And I said, talk to your partner. And what do y'all decide? And he said, we're just going to keep catching. So
the thing for him is he's fighting thinking about it.
Oh yeah,
and that is really tough.
Well, Dan saw it. You can see it visually that it's bothering him, and he's pulling his hand out after he turns his rope loose. Little things like that.
Shaking it.
They're not big things, but he needs to get over it, Now, Bradley Harder, he's hurt.
He's hurt.
He's injured. That's what, and I told Junior that too tonight. I said, hey, Bradley Harder's injured. You're just hurt. You're all right.
Yeah. This was a great
Remember
rodeo.
what he said, he said, those guys in the locker room, they're so kind.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Great rodeo tonight. Outstanding bull riding tonight.
Yeah.
The 2 best rodeo color guys in the world are standing here ready to do it for you live. Just take a look at the highlights from round number 4, starting with the bareback riding, Orrin Larson, Donnie.
All right, well, the bareback riding's tied. Anybody can win this championship. This is a guy that's in the mix of Frontier Rodeo, Bucking Horse. Night Fest is one to draw. You look at the spur ride right here. The guy straight down that horse's back. Spurs coming up. Not one-legged. Orrin Larson made a picture-perfect 90-point ride.
That horse lets him do it.
Everything.
Watch him kick.
Everything kicking. You beat the horse's front feet to the ground. You set your feet. Everything. That's how you draw up bareback riding.
That's a bareback horse to let you be 90 points. So, all right, and the steer wrestling. He thought he broke the barrier. Guess what? In the timed events, if you know you're out, you're late. So Bridger comes back and he says, yes. How'd you like to tackle him right now? Great start. The head catch was superb. Watch him pull the head around back towards the chute, stay square over him, makes him kick. The steer wanted to hang a leg, but the power didn't let him, and he stands up right there for $27,000. In the team roping, Chad Masters, it isn't always pretty. Watch. Has to pull a little bit, gets a neck, kind of misses the slack. He just dallies. You know why? Joseph Harrison's a number 10 back there. He doesn't need any babysitting. Just get out of the way. Watch this yellow horse face when it comes tight. Joseph gets a step by. I would not suggest that throw for a number 7 healer because that's not as easy as it looks. 3.7, they win the go-around.
Saddle bronc riding, it was the right night for the right family. Boy, Rusty Wright, Miss Nancy, Diamond G, Bucking Horse, and this is a good one right here. But it starts with the mark out, it sets everything up. Rusty Wright, all those guys know how to ride. They know how to win. Whistle blows before that horse gets to the wall. Great livestock. Great cowboys. This is what makes the National Finals Rodeo so special. Guy can be having trouble, not drawing just right, but you can get things going right here like this. 89 and a
They
half
better
points.
watch him, too. He's climbing up.
He's climbing up.
Climbing
They
up.
always are.
Shane Hanchy, this is a board gaming man, Shane Hanchy. He's won 2 rounds and placed in the other. He had one mistake tonight, had a great calf, and he went at him. He's trying to win a gold buckle, one go around at a time. I saw him after rodeo. He said, "Did you see that get off?" I said, "Yeah, looked like you 16. You just jumped off." He was so worried about getting to this calf. He ran around the rope on somebody, but he was good. Hanchy shined at 7.5, 2 go-around wins. If they don't watch out, Emily Miller is going to win the world championship just like this. See her come in that gray horse, two-hand him around the first, kept her hand on the barrel to make sure. This horse is honest. He doesn't want to hit a barrel. He doesn't drop in. He's clocking every night. She wins the day money tonight. And with the ground, when they start going to the end of the ground, then we'll see the difference.
All right, bull riding, got an all-around hanging in the balance. We got a bull riding title in the balance, a tough start. Stetson Wright, Holy Holly is the bucking bull, 91 points. This bull lives in New York, Painted Pony Rodeo Company, but there ain't nothing wrong with this bull. Watch this, hits the gate, comes out of there, round to the right of way, and saying, "Sell the daylight." There's a kid that's just gonna hang on, wait on the bull to come pick him up. That's not easy, folks, away from your hand, but boy, there's not a better feeling than that right there, what Stetson Wright's got going on tonight.
A dirty go from the chute, Donnie.
Yeah,
Did not let it bother him
didn't
one
bother
bit.
him at all.
Yeah.
The bull riding, I think there were at least six guys that covered tonight. I'll tell you, Boudreaux Campbell is riding exceptionally well also,
Got
Donnie.
3 ridden, and 7 out of 10 is going to win a pile of money in the average in the bull riding. But, because guys that are coming in here, a little bit of changing of the guard, some younger guys are starting to get their confidence. They're riding these bulls, but they're spurring, they're moving around a little more. You're seeing this happen.
What did you just say? You see the gap? You see the daylight? Waiting on him. He's not overriding. That's youth, and that's wanting to win. Boudreaux's been here a couple times, not had the best of luck.
Right.
Rode some practice bulls this year. Lives right down by me, our little buddy. And he told me before I come out of there, "Mr. Joe, this is a different finals this year," and it is.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yes.
And the money, Shane Hanchy's up over $75,000 already that he's won.
He's trying to win a gold buckle, literally
Absolutely.
one go around at a time.
I mean, he's won 2 go-rounds. That's more money than I won on a couple of my entire year world championships, and he ain't been 15 seconds doing it.
Yeah. And you talked about Emily in the barrel racing.
She's won almost 100.
Almost 100 grand.
$98,000.
And we're just at round number 4. It's amazing
That's
to see that.
how it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the best.
2 things I want to touch quickly on. Josh Frost won the Linderman Award this evening, and he was just with us a couple of nights ago. He got bucked off tonight, but a big award for him.
Great
Donnie.
award, and that award is really tough to get because you got to win both ends of the arena. Joe, you've been in that mix with those guys and watched Chip Whitaker and all the winners.
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
And really and truly, I mean, and I say this every year, but I mean this. Either Stetson Wright's going the all-around or Clay or Tough or somebody. And I've got all-around buckles, and Trevor's got all-around buckles, and Tom Murray's got. But the last true all-around champion was the guys that worked both ends. I love them all-around. It's the most coveted buckle in the world. I feel like I gave up a couple tie-down championships because I wanted the all-around championship. I did different things, and I'm fine with it. But when you look back in the all-around, the Phil Lyons and the people like that, that's your all-around Cowboys. I don't care who wins now.
Yeah, awesome. Joe, I had a few people ask me the scarves tonight that the guys were...
It's about kids' cancer. And I don't know the whole story because they were waiting to break it tomorrow and stuff. But I asked some guys, but it's something about the gold rush for kids' cancer. I guess we'll know more tomorrow. But yeah, it's when you see the contestants do something out of the ordinary like that, it's usually for a good cause. It really is. They just don't do all that stuff for nothing, just to be seen. So I'm gonna say it was a really good cause, and when they step out and take that chance and do something like that, that goes to show you how good of guys there are in the top 15 here.
Yeah, and tomorrow night's going to be tough enough to wear pink night, and we'll be talking about that with Joe tomorrow night. All right, let's move along here. This is going to be a great show. We've got a lot of things to get to. Let's get to this first guest here. This guy could have actually won at least 4 rounds, Joe.
This guy could have won the first 4 go-rounds, and nobody's done that since Bobby Hurley, I think, in the early 90s.
And where's this guy from?
Terrell, Texas.
Terrell, Texas is here. Tyler Wade is here. Would you bring him out?
All right, my
Give him
neighbor.
a hand here, Tyler. Come right with Joe, Tyler.
Anyway, let's talk team road.
Speaking of money, won.
Yeah, it's a good week already. More. How much did you win last year?
Probably what I've already won now. So
That's what I was going to say. I know, but I was going to let you guess. But yeah, this is a great start. Here's the thing. What makes the difference? You've been here before. You know the setup. You look more comfortable. You're roping better. But there's a key player in this. It's great. It's helped. What is it?
That little bay horse right there is
That
pretty
little bay
dang good.
horse. That equine athlete that he is riding has changed his game up immensely.
And how so, Tyler? Tell us.
Yeah, he's really good at this setup. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't rode him a whole lot. I've been to like 5 rodeos in competition that I've took him at, and I went to a little rodeo in Fort Worth by the house to kind of simulate this setup and see how he was, and he felt pretty good there, and my wife taught me into riding him, and I'm pretty excited about it.
You know, and here's the deal. There's so much money here at this one event. When you find a horse that fits this good, you'll keep him for nothing but this. You know, used to people sold horses, and if you kept buying, but I kept 2 horses for 4 or 5 years that were absolutely terrible everywhere else. Unless I took them at San Antonio when it was quick, or, you know, some little bitty building, you know, Salt Lake used to be like that. But this horse is worth his gold for right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, there's not a whole lot of setups like this, but it seems like the best paying ones are.
That's right.
Nowadays.
The big money.
You know,
Yep.
The American now paying $100,000. You know, some guys winning $500,000. And the NFR right here. I mean, the best money is fast setups, and that horse seems to be pretty good at them so far.
Well, honestly, with all the gold buckles involved, Dan, T-Wade's done the best job the first 4 nights to win all 4 first.
I want you to talk about the difference in the horse, this arena, this setup. Just be a little more specific about that, you guys, if is it the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's short-strided. I think a horse that wants to come up the wall real good, not concerned. A lot of times the arena's so small and narrow that when they start seeing the wall come up, they don't want to go to it. That horse will go through the wall. So he'll go through it consistently and still come around and face, keep the rope tight.
And see, when he backs in the box, he's talking about short-strided. A horse that's real long-strided. Here, when you're in the team rope, when you nod, you watch those guys. When the gates open, they want to get a swing off. Well, you get a swing off for momentum to throw. So when you get a swing off in a long-strided horse and they rock you back, the next jump is sometimes too long. So you got to take a fast swing. And I had a Palomino I rode here for years, same way. He would run up the wall to face. You know, I've had yellow and blue paint on his boots before. And this horse is letting you come tight. The 2 times you got to come tight, Cole. But the 2 times he's come tight, it's been to win the first, and that's a big plus.
Yeah, he's good, and you know, I think it's all about timing here. There's a little rhythm in this arena that you can get into to make it work, and when it touches their horns, that horse shuts the run down and gets them legal pretty fast. And when me and Cole finish, he finishes good, and Cole's horse finishes good. And you're talking, what was it, 3-7 to 4-3?
It's a huge difference. That's right.
$20,000 difference tonight.
I was talking to Harry Rose earlier about that, and you know, in the last few years, we've seen a lot of guys, and we've seen it here, and we question some of the times, you know, why they didn't get a flag or whatever. But if you'll stop and watch this year, maybe right or wrong, how it's been like, everybody's got their horses looking down the rope because they know that Harry's not going to drop the flag if you're tight and your head horse is facing this way. You know, you got to be looking down the rope, and that's what the rules say. So I know 2 or 3 horses this year changed guys up a lot. When you have a horse that'll go to that wall, and it's tall, and it's big, yellow, blue, and they don't want to go, and they'll run up that wall and face, you've got a winner here.
There were 2 guys tonight that it's so tight in that heading box that they hit their rope on their first swing. They hit the gate behind them, but still here you have to be swinging when you're coming.
Yeah, you can see the overhang right there that you'll hit, and your rope gets close to it. And this whole setup is all about timing. If you're too early or too late, I mean, it's a night and day difference. So.
And you know what else? I can see somebody hanging their rope in the first round, but nothing's moved. They didn't add anything to all that the last 3 days. So, you know, you gotta watch your excuses. You know, they're like everything else everybody has. But I heard one guy say tonight, you know, man, I hit my rope. Well, guess what? That all was there when you run them through Tuesday in a practice deal. So the timing is so important here. And like T-Wade, he's got it cocked back, but years past, sometimes he'd be almost turned sideways. He'd have it cocked back so far. Well, his shoulders were already facing the wrong direction. So his first jump, he was trying to square his shoulders up so he didn't split the horns that are built that way. You know, you got to come across. But this year, watch when he backs in there. He's got his loop cocked back, but he's still got his shoulders as square as they can be for the first swing. It has changed his game completely in this arena.
Let's take a look at you at work. You've won a couple of rounds here. Let's take a look. I think we have round 1 up first. If you guys will roll that, Joe, you and Tyler talk about it.
Well, watch this brown horse, bay horse. Here's what we're talking about. See how he almost jumped towards the wall to face, and he's looking down the rope where it's tight. But T-Wade's first swing has the horns covered. That steer's one step to the left. He doesn't drop. Cole gets around this steer, perfect timing, the big hop away. And you know it's going to be fast because watch how tight, and they're looking down the rope. There's no room to not get flagged right there.
And did you see what that clock was reading when they were tied?
Yeah, and that, there's a delay. I mean,
there is.
It takes the time for a guy to drop the flag and then for them to stop the clock. But what the difference, and I like about this horse, see, he never gets that rope really over his butt, does he?
No, and he kind of keeps it halfway in between him right there, so he's kind of ready to face at all times. And usually when they're ready to face, they get weak up the wall. And right now he seems to be doing both pretty good. I mean, that's it. He keeps it tight, and he makes it easy, and he just listens to me and lets me do what I need to do.
I give Cole a hard time last night or night before. I said, you need to put that blinker on. His heeler forgot to turn. But in his defense tonight, that steer ran hard, and he got ahead of Cole. And when Tyler Wade hits the barrier like that, the barrier flag on the chest of the horse, he couldn't have been no closer. So when he reaches, from a heeler standpoint, it is so hard to get going fast enough from the back of even from halfway down the box, to get up there where you can throw, that he's going to have to really watch that if T-Wade keeps doing this.
So there's a rhythm right here. Like you can tell the steer's in his left lead. So he's almost straight, but he's just barely a tick to the left. And when he does that, it makes him round the corner easier when I turn him, and it makes the run set up a little easier. So tonight, in the runs Cole's had heck in, they break to the right, and then I jerk them a little harder back to the left. But
how I wished you'd have been around when I was roping. I argue the whole time with people about that. I like them in a left lead. 2 reasons. They're easy to turn, and your heeler can read it. But most guys here want them headed straight or in the right lead, but you pop it off a lot, too. We saw it. I think that's what got Clay the other night.
Yeah.
Steer was in the right lead, left horn bobs, you pop it off. That's a crucial point.
We've got round 3 as well, guys. Let's switch and take a look at that. Also, when they won the round.
What I'm looking at is just when the rope comes tight on the horns. Look at where that clock is. I mean, from 0.3 to 0.6. That's just awesome.
Now watch. Flat, horse breaks flat, steer in the left lead. Yeah, he's going to run out of room, but it lets Cole get there and deliver. He doesn't need 2 jumps. He just needs one, and the bay horse faces right against Las Vegas. If he can keep him in the left lead, I think y'all will win a ton of money.
I sure hope we do.
Yeah, you will. And here's another thing. Dan, how many times do we see team roping horses, and me and Donnie have talked about it, when your header's throwing, they're just scraping every paint to get a dally because these horses get quick and they want to drop out of there. This horse never drops. Watch the saddle horn. Okay, watch when he throws. See how the saddle horn is still straight under him? It never does lay down on his left shoulder. That's going to be good later on in the round.
I think this horse is just green enough that he doesn't try to outthink you just yet. We haven't just ducked him and been 3 very many times yet, so he doesn't know it's coming just yet, and hopefully he lasts 6 more rounds.
Well, I hate to tell him, but if a little birdie goes that way, hey, T-Wade's going to throw every night like that.
I want him to slow it down once, Colin, and Joe, talk about that again, just so everybody understands that he's not that saddle horn being.
Okay, look, he gets a swing off in the box. Now, right when he hits the barrier, T-Wade climbs to the front and throws. Right there, a lot of times the saddle horn is past your left leg. This horse is still standing up enough. He's got his back leg under him. He's digging with his front feet. He never drops and loses control of the weight back there. It's almost like towing. If you've ever driven a ski boat or somebody on a tube, you tow them around. You don't want to pull them. If you're pulling, that means you got the weight right behind you, and you're just kicking, and the steers hit on their front end, and they don't hop. But when you rope and your saddle horn stays up, watch this. Think of a ski boat, and he's just going to tow the skier around and away from the heeler, and then it's easy to heel him.
Well, how old is this horse, Tyler, and where'd you get him? Tell us a little bit about him.
He's 12. I was in Deadwood this year, and I didn't have a horse. I borrowed a buddy of mine, Coy Britton's, and the horse Coleman Proctor's riding, he let me have him the last 2 weeks of the regular season to get into the NFR. So that was pretty cool. But I was in Deadwood, and I asked a guy, I said, hey, do you know where any head horses are? I really need one. And he said, there's an old man in the stands up there that just told me about one. So I walked over to him, and we tried him that day, and I bought him that night. So.
And that's the thing. They're like bucking horses. I've
never know.
I've seen Donnie Gay walk out of the announcer stand at the Indian finals and walk right down there to a man and try to buy some and buy one. You never know where the good ones are going to be.
That's right, and you don't know if they're going to last, whether or not it was a fluke deal or if it just they happened to buck that one time. But you have to have just go on that gut feeling. But it never hurts to be a little lucky.
Yeah, we're a lot lucky because I've bought some and it didn't turn out so good. So.
Well, used to be in the old days, you could buy them and it wasn't that much money that didn't work out. But anymore, if you buy a horse like that, you're looking at 50 to 100 grand every time you put a leg on one. So you want to be lucky and you want to try to find the right ones, but it doesn't always work.
No, absolutely. And I told the guy when I tried him, I said, look, I can only afford one, so this one's gonna have to work.
Well, I know one thing. I've been extremely proud every time you make the NFR and living in Terrell, Texas. And, I've watched this boy grow up. I roped with his daddy. And I tell everybody all the time, I said, you don't know how good Tyler Wade ropes. I said, he roped with me and still won money. So that you can rope if you can win money with me. So I'm just proud of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We all are. You're off to a great start here. Just 4 rounds down, you've won 2. Things are doing well for Tyler Wade. We appreciate you coming out tonight to be with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a blessing beyond belief. To start off this good, no matter how it ends up, I'm just excited to be out here. So
give him a hand.
Real cowboy
right there.
Thank you.
That'll build a fire in you too, because he's won as much as he won all last year in the first 4 nights. So you talk about make you want to get out there and nod your head. That's what the money is. If you're winning, Donnie always said you're making money. If you're falling off, you're losing.
We've talked. I'm looking forward to this segment here. We've talked so much about how Joe has influenced young people in this business, even Will Loomis here last night. Met him when he was 10 years old, and poor Will missed the nose tonight.
I was Donnie running. I was talking to him on the phone in the casino when Donnie walked up a while ago.
I walked up and of course Joe's always on the telephone, and I kind of elbowed him, and I heard him talking to Will Loomis, and still giving instructions, and I'm going, wow. This is
Will
awesome.
was going over that one tonight. If you missed the rodeo, Will Loomis should have won to go around tonight. He had to steer to do it, and it didn't go good. And I talked to him from the time I got off the elevator till I finally got through right here. He was trying to figure out what was going on, and that's the winner in a guy that's never satisfied.
Colin, if you have that, pull it up here while we're talking. But we talked last night about his sheer strength, and tonight, oh my gosh, yes.
It could have been no time, but he's just that strong, and he makes it work.
Yeah. All right. Well, this segment that we've got right now, we've talked about Joe helping people, met Will Loomis when he was 10 years old, influenced his life. It continues to this day. And Joe has some young people here tonight that he has changed their lives, and they've changed his, and he's been working with them. And I thought we ought to get them up here, Joe, and meet them. They're making money.
They had a big day today. I got 3 of them here somewhere. Aspen, come on. Chase, Tyler, where y'all at?
Chase, and Tyler. Come on up here.
All 3 of these kids today, people, they won over $10,000 a piece at a junior open here in town.
Come right on out here in the center,
right here
you
in the
guys.
middle.
Yeah. There you go, Aspen.
For a kid to come to town and win 13, 14,000, I tell them at all my clinics, I tell them all the time, there's a future in this sport or this just life you choose, but when somebody will step up and have the big contest for the kids and they can prove it, then it makes it a lot better to go through.
Joe, tell us where you met these young people and how this all came about.
Well, I've been knowing most of them a long, long time. Aspen Miller, she came to my clinic one time of mine when she was about this tall, and we've stayed in touch. She's got her mom and dad and I have been friends, and she's just an exceptional roper. And she's won ropings at mine and at my ropings contest, and we've stayed in touch, through the whole time. It's been fun to watch her grow. Tyler Calhoun, probably one of the ropingest 12-year-olds 2 years ago that you've ever seen in your life. He won every junior roping they had at 12 and under. They used to You know, I can tell it now. It's funny to me because I have junior opens and everything. You know, people and mom, dads come, do you have his birth certificate? There's no way he's 12, you know. So my wife kept it on file so she could, you know, wave it to him. Yes, he's 12. Shut up, you know. Chase Webster's from Utah. This is my Utah boy. I met him years ago at a clinic, and I go by and rope with him. He's come down, stayed with us. I told him a couple years ago, told his family, I said, you know, he ropes good in Utah, but it's time to venture out a little bit. He needs to come down south to some of those ropings. Nothing against Utah, but in Texas we had 93 in that roping you won, 83. Then he came down, flew down, stayed with me. We roped, went to roping, won one of my ropings in Texas. Then I said, now you're ready. You know, you can compete with them. So I've known them all for a long time. They're really good kids, and they're really rope good.
Let's take a look at their work here. Aspen, let's start with Aspen, guys in the back.
Let's start with Aspen. Come on, Aspen. Okay, this is what I like about Aspen. Watch this. 1, 2, reach. Guess what? If you don't send that ship out empty, you'll never see it come back full. That was a $10,000 shot. Look at the barrier. Barely gets out, throws it from way back no man's land. I just love.
Been watching T. Wade.
I just love loops like that. And it was worth $10,000. Biggest win you ever had?
Yes, sir, for sure.
Sweet win, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So
talk about this event and where it's held here.
This was Mike Johnson had about, I don't know, 50 qualifiers or so, 40, all over everywhere. And he kept advertising how much it was going to pay. And everybody was skeptical of it, some of them. And I said, one thing about Mike Johnson, if he says he'll do it, he'll do it. They had 2 go-arounds and a short go at Samstown at Horseman's Park. 2 boy gaming facilities were host to the watch party for kids and everything, so they could get to watch a rodeo. 2 goes in a short. Then they took the top 5 in the average and 2 in each round, and they roped today 1 head for $10,000.
Awesome.
And your time today, Aspen, was like less than 2 seconds,
I was
wasn't it?
2-1 today.
2.1 seconds wins it. Okay, and I told you all along, Breakaway's going to make something. Are you excited about where Breakaway's headed?
Yes, sir. From the past few years, it's getting big, and I hope to see it in bigger deals now. And for us younger girls getting to rope for this big of money, it just shows how big it really is getting.
Well, that's my girl, Aspen Miller. Y'all give her a round of applause. She's
Very
a
good.
doozy.
That's awesome.
She's a doozy.
Great job.
Very good. Let's go to this next gentleman.
All right, who we got next?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just show it. Let's see who it is.
Let's take a look here, and guys, go ahead.
That's Chase Webster right there. On the ground, turns him around. This is what he used to couldn't do. He couldn't flank, throws him to the ground, puts the 2 wraps on him or wrap him. How long were you? 8'8". 8'8" wins $10,000 for a kid at a jackpot in one day. Now, same deal. Here's what I love about him. You see the barrier? Could have broke the barrier, but had to run at it for that much money. Right there, we need to work on that horse a little bit. Pull there, son. He doesn't pull much. Chase whops him down and puts it on him. I thought when you came to Texas and you won that roping that your confidence level leaped and you kind of changed. Did that help?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, when I go rope with him in Utah, this is how it is too, okay? We don't get a lot of, me and Rusty talk a lot about him, but Chase doesn't talk back to us much. Tell me 2 things, and I know 2 things to let you win first, but tell me 2 things you capitalized on today that maybe other guys didn't.
The barrier, for sure, and hustle, I guess.
Try. He kept moving forward because just like I said, when he turned that calf around, that horse left him hanging. If he'd had just a little less try, he wouldn't have got that calf flanked. Flank tied him, $10,000. My Utah boy, Chase Webster.
Nice. Very nice.
Very good.
How
And
about
Chase, you
Tyler?
keep roping that good, you can talk when you want to.
That's it. All right, Tyler Calhoun, 7.7 today. 7.7. Sticks it on one, turns him around. He don't have no trouble flanking and stringing, throws him up there, wrap him a snap. That's trying to win. 15 years old. How much you win total this week?
About 13,000.
$13,000. And Papa got him off that pony, too. We got him on the big horse. He's sticking it on him. When you were 12 years old, how much rope money you think you won that year?
Man, I don't even know. I just keep going to the next one. Probably 160. I don't even know.
How much? How
Say
much?
he won 45,000 to 50,000, Papa. Am I close? At 12 years old. So all those guys out there enjoying the Thomas and Mack now, in a few years, they're going to have to give a spot up.
1985, last time I came, I rode didn't have a great finals. Rode 5 out of 10, and I won 13,000.
Yeah, he won 13,000 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Joe, is it broke down by age?
We have them in groups 12 and under, 13 to 15, 16 to 19. And he won the 16 to 19. He won the 15 and under, and she won the 15 and under breakaway today. So it's getting huge. Give him a round of applause. Yeah. It's getting really big. There's about, how many would you say junior opens now? Your good ones, 12, 10 or 12? There's 10 or 12 that they win. My boy Kobe the other day won 6,000 at one of them. So, there's about 10 or 12 of them that are really getting big, building up to things like this. And this is the first one this week. There's a big junior finals coming up. So, I just want to take a minute to let them, because I tell them all the time, hard work pays off, and if you're good people, you get rewarded. So I appreciate your time for letting me bring them up and shine a little bit on them, but give them around. They're good kids.
Awesome.
Great kids.
Awesome. Chase, Tyler, and Ashton.
Rodeo's in good hands.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all for coming up. Just awesome. Joe Beaver, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that talk the talk. You walk the walk. And
That's good and bad. Sometimes they'll tell you.
Man, just... Now, here's the thing, and for both of you, because you have clinics and schools, you know the honesty of when somebody has it and they need to be encouraged, and the other side of that is when somebody, and especially Donnie, and
sometimes you need to mellow out just a little bit and don't tell them when they don't have it.
No, but I'm talking for you, some of the older guys that have, because I recall one, I don't know if I...
Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
No, Donnie's encouragement was, I think Albertsons is hiring. So it's...
Hey, you know what? But it's a fact.
Oh, come on.
It costs too much.
And it's so dangerous what they're doing, Donnie.
The only thing... the difference between the timed events and the rough stock events, once you start getting on stuff that weighs over 800 pounds,
Yep.
bulldog and steer size, or used to be bulldog and steer size.
Right.
Okay, so once you get over 800 pounds, it's not if you get hurt. It's the question becomes when and how bad. And if you think that vest and helmet's going to save you from getting hurt when you allow a 1,200-pound bull or horse step on you, it's not going to happen. You're fooling yourself. You have to learn how to ride. You have to learn how to protect yourself while you're doing it. Getting off is probably the toughest thing to do well every single time, and having a hell of a wreck under control. Your control is how you stay alive, and you can't let them get a foot on you. And I'm telling you, I see guys come up and say, I'm ready to ride a bull.
Yep.
And I'm going, well, what kind of preparation? Well, I haven't made any. He said, I didn't know where to go. And you just don't go and enter an event. And I see guys doing it all the time. And I think they're kidding when they ask me if they want to ride. Bull riding, bronc riding is extremely dangerous. Just like, but saddling them horses to go to the team roping, you can get hurt the minute you're not paying attention.
It's definitely what you say. In Donnie's business, on that end of the arena, you've got to be able to step up and tell them, because like Dan said, there's a point where, you know if somebody has no ability and no reasoning to try it, because there's going to be a point they could get injured bad.
And on the flip side of that, I'm a firm believer that if you want to do something, I don't care what you look like, I don't care how big or little you are. Mm-hmm. If you want to do it bad enough and you're smart enough to know what the sacrifices are so you can make those sacrifices, you can do anything in the world if you're really committed. So you always have to hesitate to say, well, no, you'll not ever be able to do this. Well, that'll come back to bite you at some point in time, because you can, but it's a tough road.
In my world, too, Dan, this is an expensive game. I've been doing a deal with a film crew for the last couple of weeks for some kids, and this guy came to me and he said, I had no idea how much money it costs. You could have went out to that junior open out there this week, and I'm going to bet that there was $2 million in trailers at least. Every trailer has a $60,000 to $80,000 truck hooked to it. Every trailer's got at least, if it's just one good cab force, at least $25,000 in each trailer. You add all that up just before you leave the house. You give $3 a gallon for diesel out here and back. You know, you pay, I think I sent $3,000 out here for my boy Kobe for this week. You know, it's cost so much that I'm like, Donnie, if you want to do it, then let's do it. But if you don't, or you don't have the ability and you don't care and you're not winning and you need to let it go and play baseball or do something else.
Well, I mean, you got to be ready to turn the fun thing. It goes from fun to serious to your passion to what you're going to do for a living.
The rest of your life.
You don't get to be 12, 13, and 14. You turn into a cowboy or a cowgirl, you got to make good decisions.
Good stuff, you guys. And Donnie, I do remember when you and Terry were living over by the Mesquite Arena, one time a guy just showed up. He had left his home, came to Mesquite, Texas, because and he shows up at Donnie's at his house. Yeah, I just
at the house. I mean, he walked down there, you know, and the guy wound up. You know, we give him a job and you know, to work during the week. The rodeo was every week during the summer, and whenever he left town, he could tell everybody he was a bull rider because he not only got on them, he rode some.
I like that. Very good. All right, let's bring this next gentleman. I don't know if that's the right word.
That's a light
Let's
word.
bring this next guy out here.
Word.
Yeah, and it's just unpredictable. He is the man in the can, isn't he? No, I mean, he is just the man.
He's a can man.
Justin Rumford is here. Would you welcome the man? Yes.
Fully rehabbed Justin Rumford.
Yeah, that's
the
right,
Bionic
Donnie.
Man.
That's right.
I don't know how I feel about that intro right there, but
The can man.
good to be here, I guess.
No, Donnie hit it right there. Let's start off. Let's talk about the rehab and the injury this year. And this man, you can tell he works at staying in
he's
shape.
clown of the year.
10 times?
No, 8 times, I guess. I don't count.
I like that.
You're with us.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 8 times
Hey,
ago.
bro.
I don't count the buckles because it's not about the buckles or the money.
Yeah.
But when I look on the front row at a rodeo that I'm at, and I see a rodeo fan smiling, enjoying the time,
Yep.
that's all the pay that I need.
Boy, that sounds good.
And the actual check from the committee.
You're not going to get Joe to agree to that, I'm going to tell you.
I wondered if Jackie heard that. Yeah. That's,
and my actual check. Yeah, X the last part. We'll edit that out. We're on TV tonight, so.
So where did you get injured? What happened?
This was a rough year for me because really and truthfully, I've had a pretty easy last 8 years. Like, things have went extremely well, and not because of anything I've done. I've just been around the right people, and they've helped me. And but this year, I had an idea. Every year I try to...
Cool idea.
Well, I try to add something new every year to the rodeo clown deal because I work a lot of rodeos that are different rodeos where people don't see it. But I have so many friends that rodeo full time that they're like, hey, man, we've seen your Spider-Man act like 28 times this year. Do something different. So even though I'm going to a rodeo in like Louisiana or Florida or somewhere where there's nobody there that has seen it, all the cowboys are always like pumping me up to do new stuff. So, I'm going to start this off with this. Raise your hand if you've ever made a mistake. Raise your hand high. So
It was a good idea.
It was my buddy in Shad Smith from Iowa that has bulls, bucking bulls, had with Survey Rodeo. He has this Zebu that is the meanest fighting bull you've ever seen. And so I tell my wife who's here tonight, Ashley, raise your hand, Ashley, over there in the corner. I tell Ashley, I'm like, hey, I've got an idea. I want to win Comedy Act of the Year because I've never been eligible for it. And I'm going to break this out the last day of Denver. And it's going to be a fat guy fighting a mini bull, okay? Like, from the announcer standpoint, it's going to be like, we were going to joke around. I was going to get out of the barrel during the regular bulls. And then the announcer was going to go, well, Justin, I'll tell you what, if you want to fight a bull, guess what? Look behind the chutes. We got one for you. He's the meanest beast in the East, and we're going to build this up. And I was going to call for this, and smoke and flames, and everybody's expecting this huge bull. And this bull, this tall, comes flying out. And like, this is going to be great. So he comes flying out, and I jump him, and he's staying with me. And I went running, and where the third barrel was kind of washed out, I went and I threw a fake, and I stepped. And when I stepped in the hole, I blew out my ACL, MCL, PCL, double meniscus, and I cracked my tibia.
And the little one didn't quit.
Then once this happens, I stop and I grab my leg, and the bull's got 20 yards, and he hits me in the back.
Oh yeah, he didn't quit. He was after him.
Oh, so he knocks me down, and everybody thinks it's part of the show. So like
Everybody thinks it's still the clown act.
so
Nobody helped.
Well, no, like Wasey Munsell, who was up for PRCA Clown or Bullfighter of the Year, he's one of my best friends. So I'm laying on the ground because I can't get up, and I'm grabbing my leg, and Wasey, while the bull's hooking me, he's going, "This is great." And I'm going,
Remember Joe saying your friends are so kind.
and so he's hit me, and I said, "No, really, I can't get up." And he's like, "Get up." Oh, get up? Oh, why didn't you tell me? So they finally pulled the bull off, and Boyd Paul Amos is announced, and he's like, "How about it for your rodeo clown?" And I get up, and I'm like, "Hey, oh God." So I get to the fence, and I get back to the front. The guy, Leon Vick, the main guy at Denver, he's like, "Man, you guys choreographed that just amazing." And I'm like, "Oh crap!" So like my knee starting to swell, and Binion Survey from Survey Championship Rodeo, one of the guys that got me he hired me for 7 rodeos before I had a card. He's a good friend of mine. He's very honest most of the time. He goes, "You got to quit being so dramatic and just walk on your knee normal. The clown act's over." And I was like, I don't think that this leg, I mean, my legs are fat anyway, but this knee it blew up. And this was the last day of Denver. And then, so Denver gets over on Sunday. So 26 performances in 16 days, which is a lot. And then, so it gets over Sunday. And then I was supposed to start Monday for the second week of the Black Hill Stock Show in Rapid City, South Dakota. So after the rodeo's over, it just went bad. I couldn't walk at all. And so I called Ashley, and I'm not afraid to say this. I'm a crier. Joe, you know this. I'm a crier. So I call Ashley, and we have triplets that are 6 years old. So everybody cheer for Ashley, okay? So I call Ashley, and I'm like, "Call my mom and tell her to come watch the kids." I said, "I can't walk." And she's like, "Well, what's wrong?" So then I kind of stirred her up. I'm like, "I think I tore my ACL." Maybe, because I Googled ACL. I'm looking at WebMD trying to figure out what's wrong with my leg. And so I'm crying profusely, and Ash is like trying to call my mom, who's here tonight. And so I call my mom, and I cry to her, and I'm like, "I don't know how I'm going to do this." And then Ashley's like, "Well, we can't get a babysitter just yet, so let's just figure this out." So I drive to Rapid City that night, and I get to Rapid City, and we got a bullfight on Monday night. And I got to work the barrel for. So I go to Walgreens, and I buy 2 boxes of black box wine and one of those neoprene knee braces.
Like that was gonna help.
It did help.
No, the wine did.
No,
not the
it did.
brace.
So I buy this knee brace and this box of wine, and so I'm like, no, if anybody here's ever drank 2 black boxes of wine in one night, you know you can do anything. Right? So I go, and I'm telling myself, I'm thinking like, I got these tapes, not tapes, but they're on, like MP3 now, like mentally tough talks. And plus my dad is always telling me like, be mentally tough. And so I'm walking into the rodeo, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got it. Sprained my knee, And so I'm there at Rapid City on Monday through Friday. And I get along pretty terrible, and I'm in a horrible amount of pain. But Dr. Duchesne, who owns the Black Hills Orthopedic Center in Rapid City, who's a very reputable man, he's like, "Why are you limping?" I'm like, "I tore my ACL. I'm going to, after Brawley, California in November, I'll get it fixed, and then I'll be ready for Denver." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And so I have my shorts on before the perf, and I'm going to the Justin Boots Sports Medicine, and he happens to be here that night. And I go walking by, and he goes, "Hey, bro, holy crap, look at your leg." And he goes, "We need to look at that." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have my insurance with me." And he goes, "Dude, I own the place. Come by tomorrow. Let me give you an MRI." I go there on Saturday, and I get an MRI. which on a side note, you know you have to be naked for an MRI with just the thing on, which that was. Well, I thought he was joking at first, because when my dentist in Ponca City told me that, that's a whole nother story. But so I get down on Saturday and I go to the rodeo and he shows up and he's got a disc. I'm like, well, what do you think? And he goes, he knows my orthopedic surgeon who's done my other 16 surgeries in Wichita, Kansas. He goes, hey, here's a disc. I made an appointment with you for Monday. So I go to leave Rapid City. So I buy a black box of wine and I'm headed towards Oklahoma. And we go to, and we were full. Like when I started at Denver, we had a rodeo every week from January until November 19th. No weeks off. Like we're rocking, okay? And so Ash and I, we go to Kansas Orthopedic Center and we give Dr. Miller the disc. And he comes walking in with the, okay. And that's never, in the rodeo business, when a doctor starts off as okay, and me and Joe talked about this a lot. And so he's like, yeah, you're going to have to have surgery. I said, when? He said, tomorrow. So, and he's like, you're going to be out for a while because this is a really bad deal. And then I started crying again, you know? And, you know, because just like with the contestants, like you talked about with the injuries, I never really planned on being injured because as a rodeo clown, you don't really... I'm not a bullfighter. I'm an entertainer, and so you don't really think about getting hurt. So I had to be out for 2 months, and I've never been out. And so it was pretty tough because I had to give up a lot of my big winter rodeos, you know, in February, which is one of my biggest times. So I got the surgery, and I couldn't bend my leg or move it for 5 weeks. And when you were talking about the breakaway roping, I watched every run of the American semifinals qualifier from Fort Worth on TV, okay? I never missed anything. I had to lay in bed, and the only thing that got me back, I started going to rehab in Ponca City, and not knocking those people, but they didn't know what I was trying to do. And I don't know about y'all, but if you've ever tried to explain getting ran over by a mini bull to somebody who's never been to a rodeo, it's pretty tough. Like, so when I
just didn't get it.
No, when I went in there, like, okay, we're gonna do toe pushes. And I'm sitting in there and I'm like, these are great, but here's the thing. I need to be back by Austin, Texas.
Did you tell him you had triplets? You had to work?
I did, yeah. The guy actually didn't live too far away, and he's like, so you're a rodeo clown, so you like try to get a bull to gore you and then you run and jump in a bucket? That's exactly what I do, and thank you for noticing. So the guy, and they didn't know. They don't know rodeo people at Northern Oklahoma Rehab, you know? And so I was like, I am in a jam. So I called Rick Foster from Justin Sports Medicine. And for y'all, if you ever get a chance to give to Justin Sports Medicine, these dudes are amazing. So I said, I need to be back by Austin, Texas, because Rodeo Austin is one of my biggest contracts. And turns out having 3 kids at once is pretty expensive. And so he said, come on down. So we came down to Austin early, and they got me hooked up with all these trainers from the University of Texas, Westwood High School. I mean, just the sports medicine team, all for free. Wow. Like I didn't pay a dime, and I spent 4 weeks in Austin bending on this leg, and Wasey Munsell came down, worked the barrel for me, and I wasn't healed when I left. But 2 or 3 months after my surgery, nobody could believe the progress. So it was a long year, and we came back good, and I'm blessed. We never quit rocking, but me and Joe ran into each other, and his arm was in his Joe showed up, and he had his arm in a sling, and I'm walking like this, and we're like trying to high five. And so.
Everybody just looked at us, and I said, so Rump, I got one question. He said, what? I said, have you still got those bulls? No, hell no. He said, that was not a good idea.
We did that act one time, and the bull is gone, and I had to apologize to my wife because I was wrong.
What if you've ever seen it on the video?
Okay, so I was going to say, y'all remember he started this out by going, raise your hand if you've ever made a mistake. Well, he tried to tell Ashley that on this idea of this new act, and she looked at him whenever he had told her about it, and she just I said, what'd you say to him, Ashley? And she said, I told him he was stupid. It was the worst thing I ever heard in my life.
And she was right. So men out there, if you're married to a beautiful lady, listen to what she says, okay? Or you can end up with a bad leg, okay? So besides that, it was a great year. And yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Well, we laugh at him because he is funny all the time. But remember what he's telling you. He walks out of the arena at Denver, and then he drives to Rapid City, South Dakota, in lovely weather, I'm sure, and goes and works the rodeo. And he ain't even been to the doctor yet. Just been to Walgreens.
And then
he's
in
a
2
tough
months,
son of a gun.
Hey, in 2 months, he was back. I saw him in 3 months' time. And let me tell you, you tear all of that loose, that means your leg's detached almost. It's usually 6 months before they tell you to start back. Ask Luke Branquino.
Putting any weight on it.
Oh, and he's back doing his stuff. And on a little side note, I think the Spider-Man act is quite cool.
There was a lot of stuff
3
I
months, you were
couldn't do.
back.
Yeah, and you know, the good thing is, too, it taught me that I need to learn how to do stuff. So I come up with some acts that don't involve running and stuff like that. But you know, the one thing I really learned the most about it is like how much, I never realized this. As long as I've been rodeoing, I never realized how much I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we start rodeoing, and I'm sure it was the same when you guys competing, you get into a jam and you're going and you know, you're going here, and you know, we're going to Corpus this weekend, and we got Logandale, and you're making plans, but you never really stop, because by the time the rodeo season gets over, you come to Vegas, and then you're like, oh, we're in Vegas, it's the NFR, and you see these committees, and you book some rodeos, and everything's cool, and you're like, man, we can't wait for the off season. And then 9 days later, you got to go to Denver, you know, because it starts all over. So I think sometimes that we all get so caught up in how fast the rodeo season goes, we don't realize how much we love it. When I'm sitting at home and I couldn't put weight on my leg or move it, I'm just sitting in the bed just wishing. I told Ashley, I go, I feel so bad for complaining about driving. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'd have to overnight it from Ponca City Pro Rodeo to the College National Finals on Sunday, I'm like, I cannot believe I ever complained, because I love rodeo so much. I am such a whiner, you know. So I learned a lot from that, in that, you know, if you love something, you really gotta love it, you know. And like you said about when you guys were talking about the money and stuff, you know, even though I'm not a contestant, you know, you have to put everything in, and so even though it was a setback, and it sucked, and I was a huge baby, and my kids wouldn't talk to me for a while because I kept trying to get them to bring me drinks and cheese and stuff from the refrigerator. But,
Black box
you know,
wine.
at the end of the day, it taught me how much I loved rodeoing. And when we finally got ready to rodeo again, I never drive. Ashley drives everywhere. If we're together, my wife is driving. And when we went to leave for the first rodeo, after I was behind the driver's seat from Ponca City to Edmond, Oklahoma, which is an hour and 10 minutes before she started driving again. But I drove. That first hour and 10 minutes, I was ready to go. So.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what? Everybody stop and listen to what he said. But that's why he's so good at what he does. Because he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. He's good at it.
But tell
It made
them,
me crave it.
because we're out of time here, but tell them the awards that you won this year, because we started out the week here talking about how good Boyd Gaming, it was a good week, but the awards.
It was a great week for Boyd Gaming. For our crew, we got a wonderful crew. We got a wonderful boss. My watch party's here for all you people want to save some money. Come watch me right here when we can watch the rodeo together. But I got to win my 8th Clown of the Year, which was pretty exciting, because when I won my first Clown of the Year, thank you. Flint Rasmussen, when I won my first one, he came up to me and acted like he was lifting my belly up. And Flint goes, "Oh, cool, Clown of the Year. Call me when you get 8. Did you call me? Yeah, you dang right I called him. 1:30 in the morning, and even though it wasn't for the act I planned on, when I planned on the Fight and Bull act, I won Comedy Act of the Year, so I achieved my goal this year, even though it wasn't for the act I planned on. So it just was awesome, and it's always a good time in Vegas.
A great year for, give him a hand, will you? Justin Rumford right there. Yep. Stay right here with us. Stay right here. We're just flat out of time, but if you will, all of these guys, if you'll give them what a wonderful evening and show, and it had a little bit of everything. Joe Beaver, Justin Rumford, Donnie Gay right here. If you'll give them a hand. Thank you guys so much. Stay right there if you will. To all the folks here in our live audience here, please stay right where you're at. We've got prizes to give away for you. We're going to do that quickly as soon as we say goodbye to the folks on the Cowboy Channel. We appreciate you watching. Hope you join us again tomorrow. So for all of us here for Boyd Gaming, thank you and good night.
We'll take a picture.
Five of them.